What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you have been enjoying the Dallas Cowboys being back in action. That's right. America's team held the second practice of their training camp period out in Oxnard, California on Saturday. Very exciting stuff. We will, of course, be doing these recap videos following every Dallas Cowboys practice, telling you what you need to know, showing you lots of highlights. So without further ado, let's go ahead and recap practice numero dos. Now we start with, I wouldn't say news. I mean, I guess it's news. It's just something to update you on. Dallas Cowboys veteran quarterback Cooper Rush did leave practice for an undetermined reason. At the time of this recording, when we're putting this video together, it is still unknown exactly what happened to Cooper Rush. We'll definitely keep you updated at bloggingtheboys.com, so make sure and check us out there. Follow us on Twitter at bloggingtheboys and on Instagram at blogging.the.boys. But Cooper Rush left early, which did lead to some more opportunities for other quarterbacks on the roster, namely Ben DiNucci. I know our level of belief in the Nooch following his rookie season with the Cowboys is not exactly high, but more opportunities for him is certainly a good thing. We do hope all is well with Cooper Rush. But let's move to our standouts today. We have three to talk about specifically, although we have, again, a lot of other things to talk about in general. CeeDee Lamb also entering year number 2 with the Cowboys and had an incredible catch that we will show you in just a moment. Micah Parsons, who got some work at edge rusher. Very exciting stuff happening for the Dallas Cowboys first-round pick. And Randy Gregory, somebody who a lot of you have a lot of faith and a lot of confidence and a lot of hope in, having himself a nice day, a nice afternoon out in Oxnard, California. Let's start first with CeeDee Lamb, though. CeeDee, I think without question, had the catch of the day. And it's not like there usually are a lot of amazing catches for the Dallas Cowboys for any team out at training camp. But CeeDee Lamb, well, I'm just going to let you see it. Pretty sick stuff from CeeDee. And in fact, look, I want you to see this. Take a look at this. This is unbelievable. This video, by the way, came to us from Joe Trahan of WFAA. Congratulations to Joe on the recent news. One-handed in the air, levitating like Dua Lipa. Trayvon Diggs in coverage at that moment doesn't look like it, but ultimately some really nice coverage on the play. But CeeDee Lamb is superhuman, showing it off for us. Very good to see. CeeDee Lamb did get some work as a returner. The Dallas Cowboys started off training camp practice on Saturday with some punt return drills and things like that. The Dallas Morning News' Michael Gehlken let us know the order of returners. CeeDee Lamb, the first one to get a crack at it. Cedric Wilson, now sporting number 1. Don't forget about that. Don't be freaked out by it in preseason. Followed by Tony Pollard, Reggie Davis, and Johnny Nixon. Michael Gehlken did note that Zeke Elliott tried his hand at it, and he misjudged the ball at first, letting it go over his right shoulder. If Zeke Elliott is returning punts, then I think something went really wrong for the Cowboys. Before we get to Micah Parsons, I do think there's something that we should mention. Connor Williams, obviously the Dallas Cowboys starting left guard. We've talked about his spot on the roster. Michael Gehlken also reported that Michael Gehlken's not getting snaps at center, but that Connor Williams took some reps at center on Saturday. Now, this is not exactly breaking news. This isn't anything that we're surprised by, but this does kind of feed that theory. We've talked about how you can construct the best overall offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys from left to right, etc. Right now, we've obviously got Connor at left guard and Tyler Biadasz at center. But in the event, if Tyler Biadasz did have to miss some time, which was the case last year in 2020, Connor Williams could slide over, and that would open a door for another Connor on the team, Connor McGovern, to play left guard in Connor Williams' spot. I don't know that we feel great about this, but it is at least an option for the Cowboys now that they don't have Joe Looney on the team. Obviously, he's still out there in free agency, hoping the best for Joe. But Connor Williams at center, I mean, do we feel good about this? Do we feel great? I do like that the Cowboys are at least exploring the option, but ultimately, I do think this is still a smash glass in case of emergency thing. If you're thinking about Connor Williams as the permanent center for the Dallas Cowboys, consider that he's been playing left guard for 3 years now. He's entering a contract year. It just makes the most sense to leave him at left guard, especially if you do believe in the future of Tyler Biadasz, like I think all of us do. So, it is what it is. But let's talk about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons got work along the edge today on Saturday. Very exciting stuff. And just like the CeeDee Lamb clip, I'm going to kind of let the video speak for itself. Go ahead and feast your eyes on this. I think we can, look into this and see that Tyron Smith is, not exactly going full Tyron Smith, but still it's training camp. It's practice number 2. That's okay. This is really exciting. And in fact, this is so exciting that I wanted you to see it and really kind of take it in. Here is that same exact clip from Michael Gehlken of the Dallas Morning News in slow motion. This is good. This is what we want to see. We want to see Micah Parsons being worked. In fact, getting work everywhere, working with Dan Quinn. And in fact, that's what I was about to say. If I'm so excited that I'm talking over myself. Before practice, Kyle Youmans of DallasCowboys.com tweeted this video out. Shout out to him, friend of the show. Micah Parsons working with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn spoke for the first time himself on Friday after practice, or no practice rather, but after the evening had kind of ended, at least in the central time zone. Talked about Micah Parsons, how they want to utilize him in different ways. And he talked about the one-on-one time that he has with Micah Parsons and how when players play different positions, like Micah obviously getting lots of snaps at linebacker, at edge rusher, just rushing the passer in general, how you want to spend that extra time. You want to go that extra length so that you're making sure all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed, so to speak. Here's Coach Quinn with Micah Parsons before practice began on Saturday. This is what we want to see. We want to see that instruction, that teaching, that, being methodical about it. And I don't want to bag on Mike Nolan, the Cowboys. We've all moved on at this point, but this is what I think we're all very excited about when it comes to Dan Quinn and him being the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. There's a clear high level of knowledge with him. He's obviously a defensive line coach by trade, so the fact that he's able to work with Micah Parsons specifically on a number of different things certainly does bode well. By the way, Micah Parsons not the only Cowboys linebacker to get work at edge rusher on Saturday. Jalen Smith did get an opportunity as well. Good for him. When it comes to Jalen and the Cowboys linebackers, the first two to get a crack were Jalen and Leighton Vander Esch, with Keanu Neal and Micah Parsons coming in after the fact. I don't think any of that is shocking to us. But speaking of Leighton Vander Esch, he did have himself a nice moment on Saturday. I think we've forgotten a little bit about the Wolf Hunter. And again, the Cowboys kind of did themselves by drafting Micah Parsons. But still, Leighton Vander Esch, just like Connor Williams, in a contract year. And he's clearly looking to ultimately have a season that leads to him getting paid by somebody. Pretty good coverage by Leighton Vander Esch on Dalton Schultz, also part of that 2018 draft class that Leighton and Connor Williams are a part of. So nice kind of symmetry there. It's again, we've got to be slow, people, at getting hyped, at getting overhyped, at letting our minds run away from us. But Leighton looks good. Michael certainly looks great. I mean, right now, a lot of people do look great on the Cowboys. Not a great moment there for Dalton Schultz, but you know who did have a solid moment? Blake Jarwin. We didn't see a lot from Blake Jarwin after Thursday's practice, so this is really nice. Also coming back from injury, something I've brought up on some of our shows on our podcast network is we've talked all about Dak Prescott. We've talked all about Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins and even Zach Martin. But Blake Jarwin is coming back from injury just like everybody else. So the fact that he wasn't on the PUP list to start camp, the fact that he's out there, the fact that he's making plays, that certainly bodes well. I don't think his spot on the roster is in jeopardy by any means or anything like that, but it's nice to see Blake Jarwin. We know that Dalton Schultz is obviously going to contend for the starting tight end spot on this team. He is obviously in the contract year, as we mentioned, but that healthy competition is good. Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz have always been close. They've obviously been through a lot together. We're part of the team when the Cowboys brought Jason Witten out of retirement, so on and so forth. So it's good to see Blake Jarwin back. Somebody who is in a situation where he's fighting for his spot on the rosters. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Noah Brown had himself a pretty solid afternoon, if I'm being honest. Nice moment there from Noah Brown. And again, his heaviest competition right now on the roster in terms of what we think is going to be that last wide receiver spot is Simi Fehoko, part of this year's rookie draft class. And so Noah Brown needs to have himself a really great camp. And I think that that's really obvious. That was not Noah Brown's only great moment. We spent a lot of time in our first practice recap talking about Nahshon Wright, the Cowboys' third-round pick, one of their 3 third-round picks, and how great of a day he had. He did not have a great moment against Noah Brown. Yeah, we're going to take one more look at this. Watch Nahshon Wright's feet. Watch his lower half of his body. This is not great. That's okay. That's all right. It's going to happen. You're going to run into some situations where things aren't always perfect. But Nahshon Wright, I hesitate to say he even got beat by Noah Brown. He just kind of fell over. And so that's tough. But Nahshon Wright did not have a great day on Saturday. And certainly that moment is one that's going to kind of cycle over and over and over again. But somebody who did show up, because we've been talking about Nahshon Wright, he's been the guy. He's been the corner so far from the Cowboys rookie draft class that we've really hyped, that we've really elevated. We're all really excited to see him. And, it took a little bit of a tiny step backwards in a smooth way, not like Nahshon Wright on Saturday after practice. But Kelvin Joseph, obviously the team's second-round pick. We're all looking to see him make a leap because we didn't really see much of him through mini camps and all that stuff. But Kelvin Joseph had himself a nice moment on Saturday, really proving why he is worthy, or rather was worthy, of a second-round pick a few months ago. Oh, yeah. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. We want to see that coverage deep down the field. We want to see no passes being allowed, boss man fat, however you want to put it. Very nice stuff to see from Kelvin Joseph. The hype train is picking up steam. We're coming out of the gate, or what's it called? What do trains dock? The station. We're coming out of the station on the Kelvin Joseph hype train. Very good stuff. The Cowboys secondary obviously is in a precarious is not the right term, but in an interesting spot because this group is ultimately depending on the likes of Kelvin Joseph to play well. It's depending on the likes of Nahshon Wright to play well. And it is more importantly than anything, depending on Trevon Diggs to take a leap in year number 2. Trevon Diggs was a fantastic rookie for the Dallas Cowboys in year 1 in 2020. And it looks like he is on pace to take the leap that we talked about. All over CeeDee Lamb right there. Listen, we've been kind of I feel like a DJ, playing stuff back over. Watch this again. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is open. He's telling Dak, I'm open, get it over here to me. And Trevon Diggs says, ain't going to happen. Yeah, I mean, we like this. All right, I really feel like Dez Bryant never had an alpha corner to go at, and that's what you want, right? You want your team to, there were times and there was Brandon Carr and Mo Claiborne and whatever, but you want to see that battle day in and day out. And it does feel like, especially the fact that they're part of the same draft class, the first and second round pick, it does feel, hopefully, we're all wanting this to be the case, like CeeDee Lamb and Trevon Diggs could be going at each other for years to come in practice. That is a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to see. And it is really, really, really great to see Trevon Diggs, not just kind of making these plays, but doing it with authority, doing it with some swagger, because that's what I love to see in my cornerbacks. And I know that you were the same. So good job, Trevon Diggs, but bad job by the Cowboys defense as a whole. Near the end of practice, Ezekiel Elliott, just kind of a busted play, was able to walk in for a touchdown. And hey, if that happens in, a regular season game, I don't think any of us are going to be mad about this. That feels like that Detroit Lions game from a couple of years ago where Zeke made that incredible over-the-shoulder catch late in the game to set the Cowboys up for a game-winning field goal. 2018 feels, it was 3 years ago, but it feels like so much longer. That kind of stuff is going to happen at training camp. Don't worry. Don't freak out about the defense. It's just part of the process. Zeke Elliott, I think, has looked really good so far, and that's a very exciting thing. But don't forget about Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard himself is, it's tough when you're Tony Pollard and you're in that situation where obviously Zeke Elliott's going to get the lion's share of the carries. He's going to get the lion's share of the opportunities in training camp and the regular season, et cetera. But Tony Pollard is kind of, working on that and finding his spot and finding his share, and he looked really good on Saturday. Very good stuff from Tony Pollard, and that's another element of this offense. You know, we've talked so much about, again, CeeDee Lamb, and we haven't even mentioned Amari Cooper, obviously, because he's on the pup list at the moment. Michael Gallup hasn't had a big moment through 2 practices yet, and that's okay. But Tony Pollard is another element that can take this offense to a whole different dimension, and that's a really exciting thing. And look, right now, the winners or the standouts that we're talking about from practice, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Randy Gregory, really just kind of showing up and just being methodical about it is what we're expecting to see, because right now, you're not going to get the Amari Coopers of the world, the DeMarcus Lawrences. Again, these are bad examples because they're on the pup list, but you're not going to get these big smashing sort of plays because it is early on. There are no pads. Things are going slow. Things are happening at the beginning stages of all this. And while it's still so exciting to have football back in our lives to whatever degree, we have to take it with a measured level of patience, and that's an exciting thing. And that really is true when it comes to Dak Prescott. We've seen some great throws so far. A lot of the highlights we've shown already have been Dak making some great reads, putting the ball in some right space. But again, the coverage is what it is because of where they're at in the process. But Dak Prescott ultimately looks really good, even if it's against air, even if it's against nets, even if it's against doing whatever he wants to do. And while we have a lot of confidence in Dak Prescott, the true question at the quarterback position for the Dallas Cowboys right now isn't how Dak's going to be. We all trust in that. We all know he's going to be solid. But the true question is, who is going to be QB2? How successful are they going to be? Let's take a look at just a small moment from all the quarterbacks on the Cowboys roster. See if this calms you down in any fashion. Didn't really calm me down, if I'm being honest. I'm still worried. I'm still freaking out. I still have no idea who the backup quarterback on this team is going to be, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. And I think we all kind of ultimately think that the backup quarterback on this team is probably going to be somebody who's not on the team right now, some veteran who maybe gets cut from a different team, whatever the case may be. It's exciting that we're 2 practices in. We have a lot to kind of sit on and digest. We will, by the way, continue to have updates at bloggingtheboys.com for you as well on the nitty-gritty things that happen. We'll always update you here on the YouTube channel. And, especially when Hard Knocks comes along, we're still a few weeks away from that. I do think a moment that happened in practice on Saturday will be on the premiere episode of Hard Knocks. Dallas Cowboys special teams coordinator John Fossil, who's been on Hard Knocks before, by the way, is a member of the Los Angeles Rams coaching staff 5 years ago, put on a referee shirt and kind of narrated what was happening for the crowd, because the Cowboys do have fans out at practice in Oxnard right now. And that's a really fun and exciting thing. And you want training camp to be fun. You want it to have that kind of, spirit of good times and good vibes, etc. But it's ultimately about work. And John Fossil, as fun and carefree as he seems to be, is about work, is about getting his special teams right. We did see the Cowboys special teams take a leap themselves last year, and they're clearly focused and clearly working on doing that again in 2021. These simple drills go a long way when you're in a game. It's week 13. It's the third quarter. It's it's these things. It's these moments that come together to pull off the play that we saw against the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. All that foundation is laid right now in the sunny days of Oxnard, California in July, in August. And so the Cowboys working towards that is a very exciting thing. I think ultimately the second practice was a success for the Cowboys. And I think that right now, outside of the Nashawn Wright thing, that we had fun about. And again, he's a rookie. There's no need to kind of panic over it. But outside of that, I think it's fair to feel rather optimistic about everything we've seen through the, lens that this is a very small sample size. There's no need to run away, with predictions right now. This team's definitely winning the Super Bowl and things like that. I think what we know right now is a lot of our ideas, a lot of our beliefs have been justified, that the Cowboys are going to be a really good team, going to be a really good offense, and that this defense is going to be much better than it was last season. Although a big reason for that is that it was so bad that, being much better wouldn't necessarily be a difficult thing. My name is RJ Ochoa. You know me, of course, from blogging The Boys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at RJ Ochoa. My DMs are open if you ever have any question of any kind. You can also send me an email, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com. Want to give some shout outs to the people where the images and photos came from today. Shout out to Kyle Youmans and David Helman of DallasCowboys.com, Calvin Watkins and Michael Gehlken of the Dallas Morning News, Joe Trahan of WFAA. Again, congratulations to Joe on the recent news, and Jon Machota of The Athletic. We'll continue to do these after every Dallas Cowboys practice, so make sure you do subscribe to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. We recently surpassed 10,000 subscribers. We did a giveaway. 5 people are getting one of these bad boys. Shout out to you if you're one of them. Those should be arriving any day now. We'll have recaps over everything at bloggingtheboys.com. Follow us on all our social media channels. Subscribe to our podcast network. We are available on all major podcast platforms. We have an episode that goes out every single day talking about all of the latest news, discussion, and having analysis when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. But other than that, thanks for joining us, everybody. We love you. Can't wait to see you next time, and have a great day. You know why? Because you deserve it. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time.